Don't Nod Entertainment is best known for its coming-of-age series Life is Strange, but before the supernatural adventures of Max Caulfield, the studio released their science fiction thriller Remember Me. Now they look to further expand their catalog by taking us to the plague-infested streets of London as a vampire.
Awaken from the harshness and be born once more.
Vampyr's greatest strength is its story and setting. It focuses on Dr. Jonathan Reed during the 1918 Spanish flu when he emerges from a mass grave as a newly minted vampire. Thirsty for blood, he inadvertently kills his sister before hearing a sinister, disembodied voice and quickly gets embroiled in an ancient prophecy. The story is deeply entrenched in vampire lore, replete with hunters, holy crosses, and secret societies. While it's certainly cliché at times, a few standout characters amid the large supporting cast help anchor the focus on moral and ethical questions that offer opportunities to imprint your own values on the narrative. A huge component of the game revolves around social interactions with the citizens of London. In each of the 4 main districts, a handful of characters have their own side stories, while others are rooted in the primary quest line. There is an enormous amount of dialogue to work through, and in the early stages of Dr. Reed's journey, it's easy to get invested in the mystery. Unfortunately, there is an excessive amount of bloat amid the 25 to 40-hour campaign that can't keep the intrigue or emotional connections heightened for the duration. Conversations become too automated and mechanical, with each encounter encouraging you to simply exhaust all possible dialogue options. There are specific moments where you can actively have an impact in the direction of a conversation, but the main storyline features a finite amount of these choices, while the side narratives end up feeling disconnected.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Some side stories are naturally more interesting than others, like one involving Thelma Howcroft, who is convinced she's a vampire and needs your protection from hunters. Other side stories are much more mundane, like fetch quests that have you retrieving lost wallets and trinkets. There is incentive to complete these investigations as they yield XP, cash, or crafting materials, and depending on how you perceive each citizen, there are opportunities to lie or steal from them. Even though some investigations are more interesting than others, they destroy the momentum of the story. Without being tied to the core storyline in more meaningful ways, completing them feels tedious and reduces the urgency of Dr. Reed's journey. Each district has a central character that is an integral part of the story. These characters live or die based on your choices, which adds consequences to the mission. The districts also have their own individual health scores. Dr. Reed can craft medicine to heal the sick and raise a district's score, and if it gets too low, the district will turn hostile. Additionally, leveling up requires you to sleep in a bed, which advances time and potentially allows additional citizens to get sick. It's a lot to think about, but some of the strongest character moments are in the early stages of the Pembroke Hospital as Dr. Reed takes care of patients and treats their illnesses. Another huge way to impact the world is by embracing your inner vampire and feeding on the citizens. Curing them of illnesses, engaging in side activities, and choosing correct dialogue options increases their blood quality, which in turn yields more XP from the kill. There are some restrictions, however. Most importantly, Dr. Reed's mesmerize level must be equal to or higher than the citizens to feed on them. But since the level is gated to specific story moments, it makes the mechanic feel artificial. Still, being able to devour someone you don't like for a massive amount of XP is a satisfying prospect. The game's difficulty is directly tied to your choices. Choosing to feed on citizens yields huge amounts of experience and makes Dr. Reed more powerful at the expense of morality. We chose to play more passively and always felt underleveled. XP can be used to acquire vampiric skills like claws that deal massive damage or autophagy that heals you. In addition, you can increase core stats like health, stamina, and blood. While combat can technically be avoided, it's not a realistic way to progress, sadly making it a core part of Vampyr. In addition to health and stamina, blood serves as a resource that's used to activate powerful abilities, and it's replenished by drinking someone's blood mid-fight. Unfortunately, using these powerful abilities isn't satisfying. Combat feels like a chore thanks to dim-witted AI and easily exploitable tactics. Most fights revolve around mashing the same button, or stunning enemies with a stake and feeding on them. If the sound and visuals made killing things more exciting, it would help alleviate some of the monotony, but every hit lands with a dissatisfying soft tap and minimal visual flair. Combat also ruins the context of the story, especially if you want to play passively. Dr. Reed is constantly questioning right and wrong and healing the sick, so butchering the city's guards feels unfaithful to his character.
Sorry, but you left me no choice.
Crafting plays an important role in survival. You can craft medicine for the citizens and serums for yourself. There are also only a handful of weapons, like a two-handed scythe or hacksaw, that can be leveled up to 5. Each upgrade feels substantial, so it makes finding secrets and crafting materials worth it. The City of London looks striking. Foggy streets and crooked alleyways are everything you'd come to expect from a Jack the Ripper novel. Each district has its own distinct vibe, like the rundown docks or the slums of Whitechapel. It's a large area, and the lack of any fast travel forces you to get familiar and embrace your surroundings. But like most things in Vampyr, travel eventually becomes a chore, due to the unnecessary length. While the outstanding art direction makes London feel cozy, the bugs and technical problems crack the foundation. Traversing to new locations is often interrupted by frequent loading and texture pop-in. Plus, we experienced a few crashes that resulted in having to restart the game.
Kill it, boy!
Vampyr wastes its setting and premise on tedious combat and a story that's much longer than it needs to be. Technical problems and dim-witted AI make progression a chore, while the striking locations become mundane. Just a few standout characters and excellent story moments help Vampyr claw out of the grave from disaster to mediocrity.
Considering the state of this place, I should consider myself lucky, I guess.
Easy Allies reviews are made possible by generous viewers just like you. If you like what you see, check out patreon.com/easyallies to help us make more. For just $1 a month, you can gain access to weekly updates, spoiler discussions, and exclusive shows.